Yes, good morning. Thank you, Eric, for the introduction there, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar on transitioning to remote solar cells. My name is Kenneth Williams. I'll be leading today's webinar. And just to give a background of myself and a quick introduction, I am a customer success manager here at Aurora. I'm one of 12 members of the Aurora Solar customer success team. My background is actually 6 years as a professional direct solar sales consultant. I've experienced consulting with the SunPower Corporation Global Headquarters, Sunrun, RGS Energy. Over my time of consulting, I've closed hundreds of solar install deals via in-person as well as remotely via web. And my background of education is a BS Environmental Studies with an energy concentration from SJSU. So I'm definitely excited to be here with professionals like yourself today and give you some best tips and practices on transitioning to remote solar cells. So what we'll be going over today, today's webinar topics: why should you sell remotely if you're not already doing so? Key lessons I've learned from selling solar remotely, how to put use of solar software in your sales process. We'll look at a summary at the end and we'll have a Q&A as well. So remote solar cells. Why remote selling? First thing is our environment that we are in now, very important as everyone's aware of, recently with the global pandemic and social distancing, our environment now is more important than ever, and remote solar cells is definitely very applicable to today's current environment. Two, future benefits, very important as well. We'll be going over how the benefits of remote consulting can help you continue to grow your business positively. Three, we'll look at how being able to have a remote consultation actually allows you to increase your closing ratio, because if you're not able to meet with an individual prospective client in person, then you're not able to improve your closing ratio. So having this ability to do your remote solar sales process will give you the ability to close deals remotely as well as improving your closing ratio. So let's just look at some few top reasons to consider when thinking of remote consulting. Number one, of course, you'll save on gas money and save on electricity costs for charging your electric car. Two, you'll save on time in between appointments, which is very important. Having a remote solar sales process in place will give you more time throughout your day. Three, you'll be able to run more consultations in a day as well. So if you're used to running maybe 2 or 3 in person, doing this remotely gives you the ability to stack your calendar more, possibly run 4 or 6 consultations per day. Four, you'll be able to scale the growth of your business faster. Overall, being able to have an organized process with your sales process remotely will allow you to spend more time on focusing on growing your business effectively. Five, it keeps all of your prospects in their comfort zone to open up more about their reasons for buying, which is very important because they'll be in the comfort of their own home and will be communicating to you via virtual web or phone platform. Six, it allows for more dialogue during the meeting, which is very important. When people are in the comfort of their own personal space, they'll be more likely to open up more to you about their reasons for buying, which is very important when you're doing a remote consultation process. Seven, it'll help you stay in control of the meeting order. Only you will have a clear idea of exactly of how the order of the meeting is to go based upon your slide decks that you are presenting to your prospective client. Eight, it forces you to stay more organized overall with your pitch. This is very important because to have reproducible results, you definitely need to be more organized with your overall pitch that you're presenting. Nine, it keeps you healthier now given the current environment that we are in. And 10, very important here, all decision makers be present at the same time, given that more people are at home, and they can also join the meeting virtually from different locations as well. So it gives you an upper hand, so that way you can have a successful meeting with all decision makers present. So let's look at some best practices for remote sales. So we're going to take a look at the remote solar cells toolbox. Now, toolbox mentioned a few things that are very important to have a successful consultation when you are doing your remote solar cells process. First thing we want to take a look at here today is video conferencing platform. For an example, Zoom, WebEx, or if you use like Microsoft Teams or even Google Meetups. This is very important because this will give you the ability to communicate effectively to your prospective client. Kind of like how we're all doing today, we're all able to meet here virtually via Zoom. Two, solar software, very important, and that will be our main focus here for today. An example, Aurora. This will give you the ability to model out a site as accurate as possible, utilizing an accurate modeling software when you are doing your remote consultations. That way you can have the exact design that a customer signs up be installed the same way for what they were expecting when they signed up. So this is very important, and we'll spend a lot of time on that here. Three, electronic signature, very important as well. For those of you, if you're familiar with using DocuSign or EchoSign, this is definitely going to help you leverage in getting all the documents that you need to have electronically signed, whether it be the contract, utility documents, or building documents. You can do that via e-signature platform. And last here is the sales engagement tools. For those of you who may have not already used this before, this is very important. For an example, if you used ClearSlide, this is a very interactive tool. It allows you to send proposals to your customers and track how they're being viewed. This is great data that you can use as a professional consultant just to help you leverage on how you can close that deal when you are following up better. And there's other platforms out there as well, like for example, Showpad that you can use when you're using a sales engagement tool. And then Yesware is one that I highly recommend as well during a remote business process, because this will give you the ability to do what we call referral marketing. Email marketing will allow you to continue to grow your business with your existing customer base as well as your future customer base as well. So definitely recommend looking into Yesware and ClearSight. So how solar software helps you sell remotely? Number one, it's going to establish more trust and credibility. You're going to be able to create a highly accurate site assessments without going on site. Example, with Aurora here, you'll have the ability to do that. And we'll look at that here today as well. You'll be able to educate your customers using visual tools to power an interactive consultation and when customers buy in, which is very important here as well. And you'll also be able to do something really, really fast. So for an example, if you go from lead to proposal within hours or even minutes, it won't take you days or weeks. You'll be able to go through this really quickly, really fast using this software platform effectively. So these are just going to be a few quick checkpoints to make sure you have a successful remote consultation. These have always been proven to work effectively over the years, and highly recommend looking at these checkpoints here. Always ask yourself these questions. One, have I received a commitment for the web consult platform appointment from a customer via email, phone, or text? Whichever platform you are using to communicate, definitely make sure you get that confirmation so that way you are committing to the appointment, the customer's committing, and you're not wasting your time or their time. And that gives you that confidence to know that they'll be arriving to your appointment. Two, ask yourself, do I have all of my prospects, decision makers, utility information known to create a proposal? This is very important because before you could typically wait till you get on site to get utility information, but doing a remote consultation is definitely more important to have that information upfront sooner than later, because you want to make sure you're spending the time properly preparing the correct site assessment for them so that you can close that deal effectively. I know there might be homes or locations or buildings where they may not have historical data or usage, especially if it's new construction, but there are ways of calculating load profiles based upon that. But you want to do that all prior to the actual console itself. Three, ask yourself, can I accurately model the site? Now, this is important. This is where the solar software comes into place. Now, when utilizing a platform like Aurora, you have the ability to use what we call 3D modeling credits. Now, I know as a professional consultant, when I went from having to design a site myself to using 3D modeling credits to where professional designers will design the site, it allowed me to focus on closing a deal. So I'll show you an example of that today and the importance of using the modeling software that way as effective as possible. Next, is my prospect talking or engaged in a dialogue during the meeting? This is very important. The saying that I always used to like to use is if they're not talking, you're not closing. So make sure your client, your prospective client, they're engaged, they're communicating with you, and they have an understanding of the meeting. Next question, did I build value on why my company for solar? Now, this one is very easy to do, very easy to use. Highly recommend you spend some time doing that, whether it's through experience, reviews, your YouTube, your Facebook, whatever it may be. But this is going to give you a huge up, especially when you're doing things remotely, because this is going to separate you from the rest of the pack when you spend time and focus on communicating that to your customer effectively. And lastly, do I fully understand my prospects' needs before emailing a proposal via email. Now, this is very important because a lot of times here, if you don't fully understand your prospect needs and you send out a proposal too soon, you might not be able to effectively target their buying needs. So that's why we have that there in bold. So definitely focus on that. Next thing here. So I'm going to show you an example as you're getting prepared for your appointment, and then we're going to go into using an example with the solar software for an example here as well. What we want to look at here is your email content for your email upfront agreement. This is very important. So one thing when you're creating an email confirmation, always make sure you have the time and date. Just like today, for today's meeting, you all received an email confirmation with the time and date, which allows you to meet here virtually at the correct time and date. Two, have an agenda of what to expect during the call. Make sure your prospective client knows what they're going to expect during that meeting, so that way they're not caught off guard and they'll feel comfortable during the meeting as well. Three, have instructions on how to direct your customer to get utility information from their local utility via PDF step-by-step instructions or a link to a utility website. This is very important because this is helping guiding your prospective client in the right direction, having them getting the information that you need to effectively close the deal. Fourth, link to your company's website or brochures that explain why to choose your company. As mentioned before, very important to have that in that upfront email as well. And lastly here, another one is a link to the meeting via Zoom where it will be taking place. So just like today's meeting, you all received an email confirmation with a link and how to join today's meeting on time here. So have the same experience for your customer that you're consulting with as well. And the last one is always mention if there's anything else that you should be aware of during the meeting and have them please let you know. That way, if there's any other uncovered objections or anything that's important for you to close that deal, that they're communicating that to you sooner than later. So let's look at an example here of a sample pre-appointment email. I've put this together. You can have an example just like this that you can use. It could be less pictures, it could be more pictures, it could be shorter, it could be longer, however you want to compose this, but I highly recommend having a pre-appointment confirmation email just like this in preparation to your appointment. And here's a quick example. It just says, April, your energy future appointment is confirmed for Tuesday, 3:31 at 3 p.m. Pacific time. It says, hello, April. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today with an interest in solar energy for your home. As mentioned on the phone earlier, our meeting will be taking place Tuesday, March 31st, 2020 at 3 p.m. via Zoom web here at this link. And it will take about 30 minutes depending on the amount of questions you may have. During that meeting, we will be evaluating how you utilize energy based upon your current electrical energy needs at your home, and we'll work together to finalize a solution that is best suited for your personal energy independence goals. To help you, I've also included a step-by-step instructions on how you can access your past 12 months electrical energy information from your local utility by viewing these instructions link here. Once you have access to this information, can you please email me the last 12 months energy totals so that I can make the best use of our time when we meet. By the end of our meeting, you'll have a clear idea of what I have to offer for your energy independence and if it will be a great fit for you. And we'll go over the next steps in helping you get started. But if you find that it's not a good fit for you, then that's okay. Overall, I hope by the end of our appointment, you'll know what you would like to do next. So here's a link that will take you directly to your virtual web meeting at the time of our appointment, Tuesday, March 31st, 3 p.m. It's important you have access to your mobile phone or your personal computer for connecting to our meeting. If there's anything that is to change or come up between now and the time that we are scheduled to meet, please do let me know. I'm here to help. Look forward to connecting with you soon, April, Tuesday, March 31st at 3 p.m. In the meantime, here's a link to videos, articles to learn more about why my company is rated #1 locally when it comes to solar installs and customer satisfactory. Best regards. That's a sample email. Put something together like that. It'll help you stay on track. It'll show the professionalism up front with your prospective client and make them feel confident that they'll be in good hands. So we're going to look at now putting the software to work in this process. So for remote solar cells examples and scenarios that we'll be taking a look at, the context is, you sent out your appointment confirmation email after the initial phone call, fact-finding call. This is where you set the correct expectations for the meeting and what to expect on the next call. So the scenario is you have a total of 5 appointments for the day. Each appointment has a different request. The first customer wants to pay cash only for the system. The second customer wants to finance using a 20-year loan. The third customer wants to compare cash and a short-term loan. And the fourth customer wants to confirm they will have enough energy to charge their EV. And the last customer, they're unsure on what they want to do, but hasn't shopped around before. So this is your typical day that you'll be preparing for. And I'm going to show you how you can prepare for this using the solar software effectively within your remote solar cells process. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that. So 4 easy steps is all you would have to do to prepare for these appointments, which will save you a lot of time and headache when you're using the software correctly. Step one, of course, utility information. Very important. Having utility info available and computed and analyzed prior to the meeting will help you get prepared for your consultation. Step two, utilizing the 3D modeling attributes within the Aurora software platform, being able to add modules, very important. It's going to save you a lot of time so you can focus on closing the deal. Step three, a detailed financial analysis once you complete that. And then step four, you'll be able to generate a web console proposal. So the reason called a web console proposal, because when you're generating a web console proposal, you're preparing a package that you can send to your customer that can be very interactive, whether it may have links, brochures, everything that you need to effectively communicate what they're investing in on that package. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to the platform here. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to switch my screen, and we're going to look at how that solar software is utilized in the remote solar cells process here. Okay, so once you're in your solar software program, for example, here, Aurora, utilizing Aurora effectively, there's some great attributes here. So this is a new project that I've created, and right away, I'm able to go to the landing page of entering my customer's utility information. That's always the first thing I want to do, step number one. I have the ability to go in here and input the utility companies, the rate that's being used. I even have the ability to go in here and put every 12 months of data that was sent to me from my prospective client. I could do it in kilowatt hours or bill totals. I even have the yearly cost here for $3,300, just over 12,000 kilowatt hours a year. And I can also model my prospective client's hourly load profile based upon what they have at their home. If they have a pool, electric vehicle, air conditioning, LED lighting, for this one's LED lighting. So I can effectively model out their load profile as accurate as possible. So that way I can feel confident in going into this consultation meeting to help them sign up for solar. So the next thing here I recommend is when you go in and you prepare, you've already put in all your utility information, we're going to request what we call a design. So the great thing about Aurora here, as I mentioned earlier, you have the ability to request what we call a 3D model. If you see there's a plus sign here, what I typically like to do is I could create and design this myself, but what I recommend is using the 3D modeling credits. Anytime you have the ability to leverage the software and have design professionals design an accurate site for you, this will give you the ability to leverage this so that way you can effectively close this deal without worrying about inaccuracies. So I can choose the site, the location by moving the project marker here to the correct home. I can see if I were to request this, I would get a complete detailed 3D model within less than 3 hours of my time window that I've requested it. I get an email and I click request. Once I've done that, the designers will send me a design. So you can see here it says design request. I will receive a design, and once I've done that, I will have this window here that pops up. So you'll receive this confirmation and you'll see this phenomenal design that's been created by design professionals here. And being that I'm a sales professional, this is letting me not have to worry about designing a site as accurate. I can trust that it's been professionally designed. I can see that they've modeled all the trees. They did all the details of the roof vents, the chimneys, the slope of the rooftops. So me as a sales professional, I can feel very confident and know that this design has been accurately modeled. And I can feel confident having a conversation with my customer about where they want to put modules on their home. So you also have the ability to choose, if you're not happy with the model, you can always give feedback and have it recreated. You can also use this model. So in this situation, I would use this model because this has been effectively designed. Once you click accept, then you would be able to go in and create an actual design. So back to this next window here, this model was created via the design service that I just showed you using the 3D modeling. And what I was able to do here is I was able to see exactly where I wanted to place the modules on the home. Now, I know I'm preparing for 5 appointments for this day, and this first customer is a cash customer, and I know that's most important for them to have a good return on their investment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trust the design software to design a system for me. We have this ability to use what's called an auto designer here. Again, it's taking out the human error, so that way I'm trusting the software on how it's effectively been designed to create an effective solar system design for me. I can choose my energy offset if I wanted to choose 90% or 100%. I can go in here and select components that I'm selling. So if there's a particular component I'm selling, I can choose that. I can choose inverters. I can choose optimizers. I can do everything that I need to do, but the computer is going to do a lot of this for me automatically. And this gives me less of a worry to worry about inaccuracies in my design. I can choose module orientation location, but I just click run. So you can see there, after I've received my 3D model, I approved it, put my utility information. I mean, that's less than 10 minutes of work there. And once you've done that, you can see the software automatically created a nice design for me. It put the modules on the most productive areas of this rooftop as well. And I can always check the production areas of this rooftop by using what we call our irradiance. And this is great here because this helps me feel confident to know that the auto designer put all the modules in one of the most productive areas of this rooftop. And I can see how the values of production of this roof are changing real time here. So this helps me feel even more confident as I'm creating a design and a proposal for my first appointment. Now, if you need to simulate, I just go to my simulate button. I can check my energy offset and how much bill savings my prospective client would be utilizing. And then I would be able to show this in a detailed proposal. But the great thing about this solar software platform here in Aurora is you can check all this within your design window while designing the system, so you don't have to jump back and forth from generating a proposal to correcting this. So I can see here the offsets really well, the savings is great, and I would move forward with this. I also have the ability to change my design. So if I had a previous design that I really liked more than the other design, I can go back here. I can revert it back to my previous auto designer design as well, if I like that. And you can see here, the modules will go in that location as well. The great thing about this software, especially with Aurora, it gives you the ability to make sure your site is up to par. All the modules are within jurisdictional setbacks of the rooftop, and everything is just as accurate as possible so you can feel confident going into the meeting. Once that's done, I just go over to my pricing tab here, um, and then I can go in and put in my dollar per watt or 10 per watt. I can go in and choose my financing. By default, it's always going to show cash. I can add more financing options. But for this first customer, this first scenario, they're only wanting interest in cash. So I can see here that all this is set up. I can click run my analysis. Once I click run my analysis, what it's going to do, it's going to calculate my financial analysis based upon my system's design. And once it creates that analysis based upon my system's design, I will be able to see exactly what the payback. So based upon that system design, it shows a payback of 7.13 years. The customer that I spoke to originally, they mentioned that they would be interested in moving forward with cash option if they had a return on their investment in 10 years or less. So doing my due diligence with the financial analysis here prior to the appointment, I can see it's a 7.13 year payback. So I can feel confident to know, okay, this is the option I'm going to present to that customer going forward. So I would just go to my documents tab, and I can generate a proposal. I can click here, I can generate a proposal. You can see here, you'll be able to see the home. It shows the home before solar, what bills are without solar, what it'll be in 25 years. Also have the ability to see what their bill would be with solar once they switch over. And it also shows their net cost, their total system costs. And so this is a great one pager that I've generated for my prospective client for my first appointment. And I can click here, I can print this, I can save it as a PDF. And once I save it as a PDF, then I can go ahead and prepare it to send it via DocuSign. So that first appointment I was able to prepare for very quickly, very effectively, without having to spend much time focusing or trying to figure out, okay, how I'm going to design this, because I'm using all the tools in this platform effectively. The next scenario here, this is customer number 2 who had an interest in a 20-year loan for our 5 examples. So using the software effectively, just like we've done before, I've requested my design request. I utilize the auto designer by going in, selecting my energy offset target, selecting my components, and then running a design. Once I've done that, I was able to create this detailed design here that you see. I can confirm everything about this design and know that it's going to be as accurate as possible, given the accuracy of the design that was created here by the professional designers. I could see that it even took into consideration the nearby home that would be casting a shadow on this rooftop. So a lot of customers may ask, are you factoring in all the shading attributes on their home with their nearby obstructions? And the answer to that question would be absolutely. It would be yes, because given this scenario and how it was designed, all that's been factored in. I also have the ability to do what we call a solar time-lapse simulation here. So with the sun, this is great because a lot of times homeowners may question your accuracy or your modeling. You can always show them this animate functionality here, and this is great because it shows where the sun is going to be on this rooftop, different times of day, different times of year. We're looking at a summer solstice. You can even do a winter solstice date here as well when the sun's lower in the sky, so you can see how it's exposed. But this software here is just going to help you put you in a better position to close that deal even more than ever before. So that way you're proving to them that your software, your design is more accurate than any other competitors that they may be meeting with as well. So this is a great visual here that you can always show to your prospective clients. Highly recommend it. And just like I mentioned before, everything that was simulated here was verified, offset, production. So I'm pretty much done with that, and I would just go over to my next step, of which is my pricing, putting my dollar per watt in, putting my financing. For this customer, they're interested in the loan, so I would go to add financing, and I would choose a 20-year loan option here. Whichever product that I'm offering currently, I would click add. Once I've done that, it would pop up here just like you see it within um, the box here, and click run analysis. So once you click run analysis here, it'll rerun that analysis for you. It'll give you your monthly payment for the finance option as well as the cash option. And then you just go to your documents here and you can click generate new proposal. For here, I've generated one, but I could show you, you can choose a loan option and I could put 20-year loan option and I can choose my finance option of choice. Once I've done that, I've prepared for my second appointment now by generating a proposal that fast, just within a few minutes. I'm pretty much ready to go here. I have everything I need. It shows the monthly payment, shows the customer's name, their home. I can move this design around as well, but everything's prepared. It's well presentable, available here for me to effectively go through that consultation. So from here, I would save this and I can export it as a PDF by clicking print, save it, and save it to my computer. So our third example here that we'll be using to prepare for our consultation day for our remote sales process will be our third customer who wanted to look at a cash and a short-term loan. The same thing before, I've inputted their consumption data earlier. I've requested a design. It's been professionally designed for me so I can focus on closing this deal. I went in and used the auto designer tool where the modules will automatically be placed on the rooftop. I've ran my analysis, put put the percentages that I was targeting, and I can see the bill offset. This looks great, 94% bill offset, 103% bill offset. And from there, I can verify all the details of the design. This looks very well done. So I feel confident within this design, and I can just go to my pricing, put dollar per watt, financing. Um, I can see my financial analysis with the short-term loan, the long-term loan, the cash option, and then I can go into my documents and generate a loan option. So everything is a reproducible process. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is how you develop a process of how you integrate software and preparing for your appointments to effectively put you in a good position to close the deal. The next example here, anytime you have a customer that has an EV, we have the ability to model EV load and how it's charged at a home as well. This is great, especially when you're doing a remote site assessment. There's the drop down here where you can choose electric vehicles. I would use this on every appointment. I can go in here and configure exactly how I want to model out the car that my prospective client has, whether it may be a Chevy Bolt. You can go in and choose that as well. You can put the mileage. You can see if it's 30 miles per day. It's 8.49 kilowatt hours. So you can model out any vehicle and it'll show the load profile. This is another great point that you can leverage with your prospective client on why your analysis is more accurate than your competitors out there, because you're able to effectively model their load profile based upon the information that they've given you. And from there, you can also go to their home site, which I've developed here as well. And we can take a look at their home here in 3D as well. We can see where all the modules are placed. We can see that all the trees have been effectively designed within this model as well. We can always check the street view if you need to verify anything about the design with the trees. So this software is definitely enabling me to accurately model any site that I'm preparing for my consultation. It just helps me stay confident to know that I'm put in a good position to close the deal. And you can see here, you have this, and you can compare the offset. Okay, so once that's done, it's just pricing, finance, do your financial analysis, click run. You can see your cash and loan option that this customer had an interest in, and then you can generate a document for the proposal. And then the last customer here, the fifth customer, the scenario is last customer of your day, they haven't shopped around for solar, and you're trying to figure out exactly, are they really interested in buying? How would you approach an appointment like that? Do you use the software for an appointment like that, or do you just talk about it? Absolutely, you definitely use the software to help you out here. This appointment is going to be special. The customer hasn't shopped around. They have no idea what solar is about, and you have to educate them. And it's going to be a lot of series of questions and answering, but definitely use the software to your advantage. Here, I would ask the customer, we would have series of questions about, do you prefer modules on the front of your house? They may say no. You can say, okay, well, do you prefer modules on the back of your house? And you can show them what that looks like. And this will just help, give you more credibility in terms of what you're presenting, what you're showing them on why you did your due diligence, your work effectively to properly assess their home, to know that once they decide to move forward with you, that they're going to get exactly what they signed up for, because you're accurately modeling out their site using the solar software, doing the correct financial analysis, and when they sign up, they're going to get exactly what they sign up for, and you won't have to worry about change orders. So that's why I highly recommend using the software to your advantage. And the less human input you have, the less errors you have later on, and you'll have more happy customers and more referrals. So that's an example of how I would approach the last appointment. It'll be more of a consultative question and answering of showing the homeowner their home without solar and where they could be tomorrow with solar. Okay, so for that one, we're going to go ahead and jump back over to our deck here. Give me a second. Okay, so we went through these 4 steps here. Step 1, 2, and 3, and 4, what I've showed you within the solar software platform. The reason I showed you 4 steps, because by having these reproducible processes in place of how you use 4 steps to prepare for your consultations, is just going to help you feel more confident. It helps you have a more reproducible results. So that way you're given the same level of expertise and analysis to all your customers you're meeting with, and you'll find yourself closing a lot more deals that way as well. So during an appointment, these are just some things to consider really quickly. Always recommend, build rapport with your customers. Very important. You can do that before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting. It's always good to do that. Have an upfront overview of the meeting agenda and what to expect next during that meeting. And then also, um, the third one here is review customer pain points. So where they are now and their reasons for buying. This is very important. A lot of customers, before even entertaining the idea of solar, may have never looked at their energy bills, and this gives you an opportunity to have that great dialogue with them, that conversation on where they're at today and where they could be tomorrow, by having the consultation with you and you educating them on their utility bill and their pain points or where they're at. Next, have a discussion and questions around possible solutions for why they want to buy. This is very important. I mean, prospective clients are going to buy for their reasons only and not our reasons. I know as consultants, we understand what we need to recommend to them, but always recommend and understand what they're recommending to you on why they're buying. So have discussions and questions around their reasons for why they want to buy. Next, bring that solution to the table. You can review it on screen with the customer And you can send docs via DocuSign, proposals, contracts. You can use company collateral as well on why your company, because that's definitely going to separate you from everyone else. The more you build the value on why your company, and you're able to separate yourself from the 5 other companies that your prospective client has already met with or is going to meet with, this is going to help you close that deal. And this last point here is very important. Go over what to expect next in the process. Now, I can't, tell you how many times where I've just done this last point effectively on every meeting, and the response you get from customers and what I've experienced is they would say, this is great. No one ever expressed what's next in the process. You did, so let's move forward. I feel confident in working with you. When you go over what to expect next with your prospective client, it's going to put you in a position that you're well organized. They can know what to expect next. They know that you're not going to disappear, and they'll feel confident in giving you the business so you can close the deal. So I would do that for every appointment, even if the customer hasn't said they want to sign up yet, because after you've mentioned this, they'll usually be like, I want to sign up. And so that's why you want to emphasize the importance of what to expect next here. And then some post-consultation tips, really good important points here. Always send a proposal to your customer to view via e-sign platform. It's good to send an email, but make sure you send it through an e-sign platform. The reason you want to do that is so that they have everything in their court to be able to sign it when they're not meeting with you or talking with you, and when they're ready to say yes, they want to move forward. So send it to them in an e-sign platform that will help you close more deals when you're not actively speaking with them. 2, have a follow-up plan of action. Very important here. Did you schedule a follow-up call? It's really easy to do. I mean, you could be on the phone. A good example could be, John, thanks for meeting with me today. I know you mentioned you need about 24 hours to review this, and the afternoon time works best for you. So how about let's schedule a time tomorrow, same time, 12:30. We'll have a follow-up call, just a conversation on what you're deciding to do next, if this is working for you or if it's not going to work for you. During our call tomorrow, we'll be able to come to a decision on uh, where you're at in your decision-making process. And then John would say, yes, that sounds great. And I've scheduled an effective follow-up call. Or another way is if your customer gave you a verbal commitment during the consultation. This is important as well, because a lot of times verbal commitments may not actually be as clear as saying, I want to sign up. They may just say, what are the next steps? What do we do next? What do I need to do? Those are cues of buying signs. So pay attention to those verbal commitments. And once you get a verbal commitment, I always recommend spend the time on the phone during that appointment to sign them up. Don't just send them information to let them do it on their own. Make sure you walk them through that process to get them signed up on the spot. Third, rate your customer interaction experience. So this is great. This will typically reveal any other potential reasons for buying to help you wrap up the deal, especially if you felt like during that consultation you weren't really feeling that interaction with your prospective client. An easy way to do that is just to be would be straightforward and kind of just ask them a nice softening question of saying, like, on a scale of 1 through 10, 10 being you had a great experience, 1 being not so great, how would you rate your consultation experience with me today? They may say 7. And if they say 7, you can ask them, okay, well, why 7? Is there anything I left out? And whatever the reason is they give you and why they gave you a 7 and not a 10, that's usually going to be the reason for why they need to sign up, or what you didn't go over to help you sign them up today. Fourth, did you send any credit check or loan applications to your customers to verify approval for your loan product? So this is important because a lot of times people that are financing, you want to make sure that they have that application in their wheelhouse and their email so that they can sign up for that loan option today. Another point here, verify your prospective customer qualifies. If you're offering a loan product, make sure they qualify sooner than later. And it's really easy to do this during the fact-finding call when you're booking the appointment. A lot of times, prospective clients may say, I have an interest in financing this system. Um, do you have financing available? And that's your opportunity to say, yes, we do. We offer a 20-year loan that's at 2.99%, requires a FICO of 650 or higher. We have a 10-year loan that requires a FICO score of 700 or higher. Which one works best for you? And they may say, well, the 10 works best for me based on my personal rating. So that will give you an idea of where your prospective client qualifies. And next here, have you expressed the values of your referrals to your prospect? This is great. As you're using the software to your consultation and you're building value on the accuracy of your modeling with your prospective client, you can always have that conversation about referrals because you're showing them their house. You could be asking about their neighbor's house next door. So, referrals always bring that conversation up during the meeting as well as before and after, because that's going to help you to continue to grow your business. Have you set the correct expectations for what is to happen next once they sign? As mentioned before, very important point here. This will put you in a good position to have your client feel confident and comfortable to know that once they sign up, they will be well taken care of. They won't have buyer's remorse, and they would know that they could feel confident in referring you more business as well. And then last, always ask yourself, once you leave the call, have you put yourself in a good position where what you left with your customer, can it sell itself without you being there? I'll read it again. Have you put yourself in a good position to where what you left with the customer, can it sell itself without you being there? Now, putting that in a full spectrum perspective, if you can create a proposal or a web consult package or an experience that once your customer receives that proposal, that package after the call, that it will clearly walk them through a clear, direct, easiest way as possible of what they're looking at, what they're signing up for, and what they can expect next. However, you can communicate that the best way possible that doesn't require you to explain it. That's going to allow you to close more deals effectively with your remote solar sales process. So spend some time on structuring that. Maybe you can send some samples to someone who never had a consultation and get their experience feedback. But definitely make sure you can build something that is clear, precise, straight to the point, and very easy to follow when you're not there with your prospective client. So what we covered today, we look at the understanding the benefits of being able to grow your business even more with the remote consulting, understanding the correct tools that will put you on a path to success, solar software, Zoom, ClearFly, other platforms that you can use digitally, virtually to help you close more deals. We're reviewing some of best proven practices that will enable you to close more deals remotely as well. And also how to incorporate using Aurora for each step of the way to improve your accuracy of your bids and help you close more deals over your competitors. So that was a big chunk of our focus today. And this is just wrapping this up in a quick summary here. So thank you all for attending this here. And here's a quick overview of our downloadable Ultimate Remote Solar Cells Toolkit that is available to you. I highly recommend everyone download a copy of this. This is a great resource toolkit. There's more things in this digital toolkit that I haven't necessarily went over here today, but you'll find this as a great resource to apply this to your remote solar cells process. And this is available here through Aurora, and I highly recommend that you download it.